Thank you. Hi, Johnny. How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. I guess I should start by asking if you're fit and well.
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, it's
Okay,
nice.
good. It sounds like not everyone is. I don't know if you're in a position to give us a sort of an update from the medical room.
I've not actually been in yet, Rory, if I'm honest with you. I've Rube's Danny's collared me before coming in to go do the TV stuff, so I don't really have much information on it, to be honest with you. We know that Brody's going for a scan, so we'll have to wait and see. And I've not heard anything else.
Seems like Jimmy has got a bit of an issue as well. It would be highly unusual, for England to go into a Test match without Stuart and Jimmy. I don't know if you can remember a time when that's happened, but that would be a big loss to the team, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Naturally, because they've got 1,000 wickets, 1,000 Test wickets between them. So yeah, naturally, it's going to be potentially a bit of a loss. But with that comes opportunity for other people. And when we've seen previously in the summer, look at the Pakistan, the opportunities that arose for other people coming in to host those challenges.
Does it sometimes sort of a chaotic build up with sort of injury withdrawals, people getting called up to the squad to join you at nets with a chance of playing? Can that be destabilising sometimes, or does that have no effect when you sort of get out in the pitch and you're doing your business?
I don't think it's too much of a destabiliser, to be honest with you. I think that with the nature of professional sport, there's going to be injuries at times. There's going to be illness, and they're exactly the same. The injury can happen overnight. Illness can happen overnight, and you've got to be adaptable within the group, and that's what we have been. Whether it be in South Africa, rewinding to when everyone was unfortunately poorly, or other occasions when they have.
And just lastly, for me, how do you reflect on things personally from Trent Bridge? The sort of big score wasn't there, but it looked like you were almost timing the ball as nicely as anyone, and you looked in pretty good nick.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, I was content. Yeah, I was happy. It was obviously slightly different to the week before when you were playing in the 100, and then obviously to spend a decent amount of time at the crease what was pleasing, and yeah, as you mentioned, I didn't go on to get a big score, but if I keep doing what I was doing in those two innings, keep with that method and approach and mindset, then look, hopefully there's going to be a fairly big one to come fairly soon.
Yeah, hi Johnny. Interesting use of the word content and happy. I think those are pretty similar words that Chris Silver had used about you. I think he said that he thought you looked just about as happy as you had done for the last couple of years, and the cricket kind of reflected that. Is that a fair comment from the coach? And is your mindset very much one that's kind of where exactly you want it to be?
I haven't actually read anything that Chris had said, so if I've used the exact same words, it was complete coincidence. Look, I'm like, it's somewhere that when over the last couple of years and everything, it's been tricky, hasn't it? There's been a lot of different cricket that's been on. There's been a lot of changes within circumstances and everything. So, look, I'm excited to be back in the Test side. Hopefully, playing tomorrow at Lords on an occasion that there's going to be the first full house at Lords for some time. It was absolutely amazing to see the new stand. I think that looks great as well. So, yeah, as I mentioned, if I can keep that mindset, keep the method and approach, then that's going to be the best way forward, and for me in the near future.
And just looking at the sort of likely engine room for England in the sort of middle, lower order, yourself, probably Josh Buttler, Moeen Ali, all quite experienced now, all played a lot of cricket together. Is that familiarity, do you think, with the three of you there, with Joe as well? something that England could really latch onto and benefit from?
I think that's a fair point, yeah, Dino. I think having relationships and experience within that middle period there is something that we can latch onto. I think that there's some very fond experiences of batting together out in the middle, and being able to recall those experiences and enjoy being out there and relish the partnerships that you're able to have in the middle are something that we'll definitely be able to have a chuckle about before, during, and hopefully we'll be able to reflect on what's been a positive and successful partnership between individuals, but also us as a collective.
You mentioned Welsh Fire, and I just wondered what have you been doing to slot back into test match mode, to mentally, physically rein yourself in, and also have you taken anything from those experiences in India earlier in the year?
Thanks for the questions. It was obviously slightly different driving after a 100 game to Loughborough, to arrive at about 1:30 in the morning to be training with a COVID test the next morning. So naturally it was slightly different. I think a big thing of it is within that first session to manage expectation as well, because you're going from playing a 100 game the night before where you're trying to hit many balls into the River Taff, which was great fun, to then facing Brodie and Ollie Robinson at Loughborough with the Dukes. So there's definitely many differences within that, shall we say. So I think the understanding and just with my own game as well was just trying to enjoy it more than anything, because like you mentioned earlier on in the year in India, I don't think you can take too much from those games. I think if you even look at the home side there and the averages that their middle order and everyone average within that, look, there weren't amazing pitches over there. So I think just the conditions that you can focus on here are very, very different to what they were in India. And you've got to refocus into to what you're going to be facing over the next game, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games.
And presumably looking forward to facing Siraj again.
There was absolutely nothing in that, just to squash that straight away. He didn't say anything to me and I didn't say anything to him, so I wasn't really sure if that, I didn't really know where that came from. So there was absolutely nothing in that.
Hey, Jonny, thanks for chatting. Actually, following on from what Emma just asked you, one of the highlights from the test was, from a personal perspective, with some of the verbals flying around, the fact that there's a lot of passion on show. Out there in the field, do you get the sense, as somebody who's played India numerous times, that this is an India side that maybe has a little bit more confidence, a little bit more up and at you about them? They almost fancy their chances in England this time to any other time that you've played them here in home soil?
I wasn't actually sure there was too many verbals knocking around, Jonathan, if I'm honest. You might have seen a lot more than me, but I don't actually think that there was any verbals. Like I just mentioned to Emma's question, there wasn't anything that Siraj said to me out in the middle, and vice versa. So, look, I think with any international side that's coming over, I think that there's always going to be people that are confident, people that may be slightly more verbal than others, people that may need that in order to get themselves revved up. And how you react to that's an own individual preference. But I don't think there was any specific verbals that I could really point out.
Unless I got my maths wrong, if Anderson and Broad don't play tomorrow and you yourself do, you'll be the second most capped player in the side. Do you see yourself as a senior player? And when you look at your batting teammates, some of whom are going through some tough times at the start of their careers, do you put yourself forward as somebody that can give advice and maybe steer them in the direction of where they want to go?
Well, I'd like to hope so. I think that the experiences that I've had are able to hopefully help. So yeah, absolutely. I think Emma mentioned the stuff at the Welsh Fire and the leadership down there and taking on that leadership role within the Welsh Fire, which I thoroughly enjoyed and really relished. So absolutely, it's going to be a great test for everyone. Naturally, there's a heck of a lot of experience that shall potentially be missed if Jimmy and Brody do play. But and like I alluded to earlier, it's extremely exciting for someone to come in and step up.
Hi, it's been a strange year for a lot of people, but I guess you more than most. I mean, you played nicely in Sri Lanka, then were rested, came back on those turning pitches in India, then missed the New Zealand series because of the IPL rest period. I mean, how do you reflect on the last sort of 6 or 8 months?
Busy. Yeah, it's been busy. Look, like you mentioned, I was happy in Sri Lanka. They were pretty well. It was a good trip. That I was happy playing a different role, batting at 3. Then there was the 10 days that we had off, and then back into quarantine in Ahmedabad. And those 2 games, there weren't many people that scored runs full stop. Let's be quite honest about it. There wasn't many people than Pant that came out and played in a completely different way in either of the teams that scored a huge amount of runs. So, look, it was an interesting time. But then to go on and play in the white ball stuff, and I was happy with how that finished with the ODIs over there. To then continue my form in the IPL was pleasing too. And then what did we have? We came back and we had obviously a 10 days quarantine at Heathrow, which was, as you can imagine, and you've all experienced quarantine and the bubble lives yourself, was testing at times. So yeah, the last 6 to 8 months from a personal point of view, on the whole, I'm pretty happy, to be honest with you, John. Going back to Yorkshire and contributing in the way that I did, to then the contributions for England during the summer, and then to go back to the 100 latterly, and to experience something different there, which was obviously the captaincy with a new group of players, and learning about how that works was really insightful and really enjoyable. And then last week, as a few people have asked, look, I think that my mindset's in a really strong place at the moment, and I'm excited about hopefully the next 4 Test matches. Yeah, I'm really hopeful and excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the England batting order and maybe there'll be some changes who might come in and so on, but nobody at the moment saying you leave out Jonny Bairstow. Your place seems pretty secure, so that must be gratifying.
Yeah, well, as I say, I haven't heard or read anything. So, look, I was happy with how I shaped up in the last game. I was happy with the method and the process that I went through in the last game. And if I can keep repeating that, then I think that will be that is the way forward, and that's the way I want to be going about it. I'll always have my business increase. I think that'll always be a given. There'll always be that aggressive nature to my batting. But if I can go about it the same way and the same method, then, like I say, going forward, hopefully that's enough to get some big scores for England and share some rather large partnerships out there in the middle with whoever it may be.
Yeah, just following on from the point about the 100. I mean, obviously, I think Graham Thorpe was talking about it in the New Zealand series. It's not ideal, the scheduling, but he hoped that you guys would be able to go into the 100 and get form and confidence and play with freedom. I mean, you clearly took some good scores from Welsh Fire, and now Moeen is back in the side after blazing it for Birmingham Phoenix. I mean, how much of that free-flowing attitude is really helpful, and how much of it is perhaps dangerous to bring back into Test cricket? How much can you take directly from your form in the 100 into a Test match?
I think if you're coming back in with confidence and off the back of scoring runs, no matter what format it's in, you're able to harness those. You're able to harness those approaches, and if you're walking out with an amount of confidence that's out there, then I think it's great. I think that obviously Mo's coming back in, and he's been striking the ball very nicely, hasn't he, in the 100? And we know Mo's quality within Test cricket. I think I'm right in saying that he was the second fastest ever to 100 Test wickets and 2,000 Test runs. Now that doesn't come by coincidence. So look, I think that in Mo we've got someone that's extremely skillful, he's got a lot of experience and brings a lot to the side.